Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook. Jujutsu Kaisen. Unlock the 8 secret arts at the start. Chapter 26. His name is Ryuiki and he is the owner of the House of All Things, too. Ieri Shoko's voice paused, and took a deep look at the sleepy boy beside him. Seeing that the other party didn't care, he continued. Said. He saved everyone except Super Cursed Spirit. Okay. Yaga couldn't help calling out even though he had guessed in his heart early. It's incredible that such a young boy is actually a special class. No matter what industry he is in, this kind of situation is extremely rare. Even in the presence of genius, it takes time to achieve success, but Jujutsu Master is the only anomaly among the countless impossible ones. An anomalous talent above all else. In the world of Jujutsu teachers, everything about them has been planned at the moment of birth. Some people are born to be kings, and some people are dead. Someone Jujutsu awakened for the moment and was destined to stand on top of the world. Some people grind day and night, but it is difficult to become a warlock. This is the fairest and most unfair thing in the world. No matter how hard you work, some people are like a mountain, weighing on everyone's hearts. It seems to tell the world that when you see him, you should know. The sky is up. Like Gojo Satoru, like Zenin Ryuiki. Yaga Masamiki is obviously not an ordinary jujutsu teacher. The first-year students he teaches are also monsters. Whether it is Gojo Satoru who masters the unlimited technique, or Sha Yuji, who is in charge of Cursed Spirit, they are all well-deserved. The peerless geniuses now have special strengths. If it weren't for the decadent promotion system, the two would already be special jujutsu masters. Even Ieri Shoko, who is slightly worse than that, is also a genius who has mastered the reversal warlock. It is not necessarily the strong who has mastered the reversal warlock, but the strong must have mastered the reversal warlock. This sentence shows the difficulty and strength of the reversal warlock. As the teacher of this group of monsters, Yaga Masamiki has long developed an amazing mind. After all, with a perverted student like Gojo Satoru, Yaga Masamiki's nerves have been tempered for a long time, otherwise he would have been tortured by that little monster insane. After experiencing a brief absence, Masamiki quickly regained consciousness. The eyes hidden behind the sunglasses burst out with an astonishing light. Such an age. So talented. If you can join Jujutsu College. Then his strength in this class is simply unimaginable. If he is based on such strength, he might really be able to hit the decadent Jujutsu seniors. Thinking of this, Yaga Masamiki's gaze became even more fiery, and his gaze was like a wolf seeing food. Ah, this uncle, to be honest, I am not interested in men. If you are looking at me like this, I can't guarantee what will happen next. Ryuiki felt the hot gaze of Yaga Masamiki, and felt uncomfortable all over her body. If she was watched like this by a beautiful woman, she might still enjoy it a bit. But watched like this by a big man, Ryuiki only felt like a chrysanthemum. Tight. Never heard of it. Yaga Masamiki is a gay guy. Ha ha ha. Little brother, you are not interested in joining Jujutsu College. Yaga Masamiki smiled heartily, and without hesitation he extended an olive branch to Ryuiki. In his opinion, at the age of Ryuiki, if he were a registered jujutsu teacher, he would definitely not be an unnamed person. After all, the total number of special grades in the entire jujutsu world can only be counted in one palm. There are only 99 people on board. So he concluded that the young man in front of him was a savage renunciation halfway through. Such a jujutsu teacher is not uncommon in Fuso. But if it's not recognized by the Jujutsu Association, it's not a wild cat who can't be on the stage. Without any subsidy and official support, it can be said to be extremely dangerous. Compared with Jujutsu High School and Jujutsu Association, each of their exterminations carries great danger. The dream of every wildcat is to be affirmed by the Jujutsu Association in order to obtain official support. However, both the Jujutsu Association and the upper level of Jujutsu College are a group of extremely pedantic guys. Even if the jujutsu teacher is very rare in the entire Fuso area, even among tens of thousands of hundreds of thousands of people, no one will be born. They are not. Ken easily admits the identity of this kind of wild cat. But in his own capacity, Yaga Masamiki is confident that he will not refuse to introduce such a genius to Jujutsu College. As for Ryuiki, Yaga Masamiki doesn't think that any wild cat can refuse the temptation to become an official jujutsu teacher. Forget it, I'm not interested. Haha, welcome to ad. What did you say? The expression on Yaga Masamiki's face turned from red to black in an instant. He couldn't believe his ears, and the other party so happily refused to become an official jujutsu teacher. Chapter 27. Brother, do you know what you are talking about? An opportunity to become an officially recognized jujutsu teacher is right in front of you. As long as you join Jujutsu Academy, I promise that with your strength, you will have a boundless future in Jujutsu College. I know that you have a terrible talent that can defeat the super cursed spirit, but if you only rely on the jujutsu born that day, your future achievements can only stop there. Quote. But if you join, after Jujutsu College, your improvement is unimaginable, which will greatly help your future development. Yaga Masamiki was afraid that Ryuiki would not know the strength of Jujutsu High School, frowning, and quickly told about the benefits of joining Jujutsu High School. However, Ryuiki was so lazy from beginning to end, as if he had no interest in Yaga Masamiki's words, nor did he have any yearning for the so-called Jujutsu High School. Ryuiki, you have to know that there is no one from a family background. Only by joining Jujutsu College can you become orthodox. Yaga Masamiki gritted his teeth and seemed to squeeze this sentence out between his teeth. Yaga Masamiki has always been scornful of the decadent system of jujutsu, but at this moment, in order to attract this promising genius in front of him. As a teenager, he still had to take advantage of the coercion brought about by the system he had always spurned on. Because Yaga Masamiki understands orthodoxy, what these two words mean to wild cat, and what kind of temptation they have. Orthodox. Ryuiki repeated what Yaga Masamiki said, with a somewhat inexplicable tone. A trace of sarcasm flashed through the pair of eyes that looked like Hauyu. Yaga Masamiki glanced at him with a smile. The corners of the mouth were gently raised. What's the meaning of that kind of thing, orthodox? Hee, what a ridiculous rhetoric. Yaga Masamiki looked at him and changed his lazy appearance before becoming a rebellious teenager. The expression on his face suddenly stiffened. He had never thought that a wild cat would actually ask questions about the rules that are above all else. Suddenly there was a bit of confusion. Ieri Shoko looked at his teacher's slumped appearance, and couldn't help but feel a little anxious, although he only had contact with Ryuiki for a short time. But, under such special circumstances, it is not a strange thing to be young. At the moment when the super cursed spirit appeared, Ryuiki's not so tall figure stood in front of him. The figure was like a dome, out of reach, but close at hand. As if he is there is no need to worry about everything in the world, everything is possible with him. This strange feeling may not be like. But in Ieri Shoko's heart, a seed was deeply planted. If you can persuade Ryuiki to become a student of Jujutsu Academy, wouldn't it be possible to go to class with myself and do tasks together? Thinking of this, Ieri Shoko also came up with words to persuade Ryuiki. But before opening his mouth, I saw that the smile at the corner of Ryuiki's mouth that seemed to never fade, gradually converged. The whole person has an aura that no strangers should enter. The so-called orthodoxy is just more powerful. Why are they noble and superior? Isn't all this because of their power to dominate everything? Since power is the root of everything, then as long as I am strong enough, why should I join the so-called orthodox? I don't want anyone's recognition and acceptance, nor the so-called recognition. I only need to stand on the top of the mountains. Even if I am alone, I will let all beings see me as the sky. I am orthodox. Quote. Ryuiki's words blasted like thunder in Yaga Masamiki's ears, and these words completely overturned his thoughts. He had never thought that this simple yet so complicated truth would come from a little boy. His Adam's apple moved a bit unconsciously, and suddenly an incredible thought came up in his heart. The young man in front of him would one day stand on the top of the mountains in this world. That incomparable self-confidence is natural, as if he was born with everything, and should be so. Who are you? Yaga Masamiki was silent for a while. His eyes turned serious when he looked at Ryuiki, and his body was straight, as if he was facing some great person. His name is Zenin Ryuiki. He is a monster. Not waiting for Ryuiki to speak, The voice of vicissitudes of life was the first to think of it. Who? Yaga Masamike panicked, and the curse power of his whole body suddenly condensed, and the tiger backpack mountain behind him gave out an extremely tyrannical aura, as if he had transformed into a beast that chose people and devoured him, keeping his saliva, looking for his prey. It's no wonder that Yaga Masamike is so nervous. Every jujutsu teacher has gone through countless experiences, and his perception has already been honed to a terrifying acuity. Even if flies fly around, Yaga Masamike will be able to spot them for the first time. But this time, the man's voice rang in his ears, but he really didn't notice it at all. Chapter 28. This is undoubtedly fatal to the jujutsu master who is fighting on the line of life and death. If the opponent has a trace of malice, he has already become a dead soul under the sword. Hey, Yaga Masamike hasn't been seen for a long time, you are still like this. Weak. Curse skeleton manipulation tiger claw. Roar. Yaga Masamike quickly formed seals on his hands, and a deafening roar erupted behind him. In the next moment, the tiger appeared. The horrible tiger claws suddenly appeared. With incomparable strength, they slapped the man who was hiding in the darkness behind Yaga Masamike. Hey, don't be so fierce. Facing such a powerful blow, the man's voice was so casual. Base. ZZZ. The moment the tiger paw was about to touch the man, a cold light appeared at a very fast speed and collided with the tiger paw. Two powerful forces entangled crazily, and black thunders appeared all around, and the terrifying force shook the space slightly. The collision of the two forces lasted less than a second. He pulled out and evacuated with great tacit understanding. And on the ground where the two confronted, cracks appeared like spider webs, tearing the extremely solid marble floor. Zenin, how come you are here? The one who came was the jujutsu killer, Zenin Shire. With scattered black hair and unruly eyes, with a bit of scorn, he appeared in front of everyone with a look of stubbornness. Hey, I didn't come to you anyway. Shire's attention only stayed on Masamike's body for a few seconds, and then concentrated on Ryuiki who was watching a play. I looked at Ryuiki up and down a few times, and the corners of his eyes hung up, as if he had discovered it. You actually want him to join Jujutsu College. Stop dreaming, this kid, but you don't even want to enter the door of Zenin's house anymore. Zenin's family. Ryuiki is from Zenin's family. How could it be possible that the jujutsu teacher of Zenin's family will register after the test is over? In any case, I won't be ignorant. Yaga Masamike apparently believed Shire's words. Ryuiki didn't make a sound, but sat cross-legged on the ground, tilted his neck, and looked at Shire lazily, as if the posture of stepping the world under his feet had never appeared before. Ha ha ha. Of course it's because this guy used to be like me for 2 years, and he has no curse power. Trash. What? Ryuiki also has heavenly restriction. Yaga Masamike glanced at Ieri Shoko. He didn't see the scene of Ryuiki fighting with his own eyes, but Ieri Shoko experienced everything before. Although Ryuiki is physically strong, he has jujutsu. She first glanced at Ryuiki inquisitively, and saw that Ryuiki shrugged her shoulders indifferently, and then she spoke. In this world, apart from Kaiyankai, there are always some monsters that go against common sense, right, Ryuiki? Zenin Shire looked at the sleepy Ryuiki sitting on the ground with interest, his muscles tightening. With all his force in vain, he went straight to Ryuiki and killed him without warning. The steel knife in his hand ran into Ryuiki's head mercilessly and cut it away. And Ryuiki did not even open his eyes, as if he was unaware of everything. Base. The blade stopped half an inch in front of Ryuiki, and when it took a step forward, it would pierce Ryuiki's head. Don't hide. A non-killing attack. I don't even have the interest to look at it, and... Who do you think will die first? Ryuiki opened his eyes slowly, a wicked smile formed at the corner of his mouth, and his brows were raised slightly. His left hand had appeared on Shire's chest for some time. The tyrannical curse can penetrate Zenin's body in just an instant. My body can take on everything jujutsu, you will die. Shire's smile narrowed and said quietly. Ryuiki was still indifferent. My jujutsu. No one in this world can resist. Even you, Zenin. Oh, no, you are the son-in-law of others now, you should be called Fuhei-er. Humph. Shire snorted coldly and retracted the steel knife in his hand, stepping back a few steps. Tilting his head, he looked at Ryuiki like an uninfluenced little bastard. The old guy from the Zenin family wants to spend money for me to teach you a lesson, what do you think? I think those old guys are so boring. Such a Zenin house is no different from a pig nest. Ha ha ha. You guy, so funny. So funny. Hearing Ryuiki's words, he laughed, almost burst into tears, and then stopped after a long time. Turning around without saying anything, he walked straight to the outside of the supermarket. The account at this moment has gradually faded. Ryuiki looked at Shire, who appeared inexplicably, and he didn't know what medicine the guy bought in the gourd. I didn't care about it. Instead, he got up and prepared to leave. It is estimated that there will be a big trouble in the aftermath, and he doesn't want to get involved. Divine GTN, emitting a faint blue light, lifted his body, and slowly floated up. Chapter 29. Ryuiki. Seeing that Ryuiki thought about leaving, Masamiki shouted again. He took out a button and threw it directly. Ryuiki took it instinctively. There is a swirl pattern on the button. Anytime, as long as you want to join Jujutsu College, you can come to me at any time. The door of Jujutsu College will always be open for you. Yaga Masamiki looked at Ryuiki sincerely, and the 4 large fonts appeared vividly. For Yaga Masamiki, there is no death without regret for Jujutsu teacher, so Ryuiki is the perfect Jujutsu teacher in his mind who can put everything out of things like an outsider. So far, apart from Gojo Satoru, Ryuiki is the closest to this level. The presence. Boring. Let's go. Ryuiki stored the buttons in the magic machine, waved his hand, and instantly disappeared from the supermarket. Teacher, I'm sorry, I can't help with anything. After Ryuiki left, Ieri Shoko looked at the corpses around him and lowered his head in loss. Even if he had a reversal technique, he would be like fish on a chopping board without Ryuiki, even himself. There is no way to save the lives of others, let alone the lives of others. Shoko, you are not to blame, no one is to blame. Yaga Masamiki comforted softly, watching Ryuiki's leaving back, a few spirits flashed in his eyes. This time the super cursed tire appeared too suddenly. I suspect that someone is making a ghost. Cheer up, we still have a lot to do. After leaving the supermarket, Ryuiki found a quiet beach and fell slowly. A dim light flashed across the sky in front of the chest. Suddenly, behind him appeared the long-lost wisteria chair. He lay on the rocking chair, found his body in a relatively comfortable position, and lazily took out the super cursed object taken out of the cursed spirit body. The emerald green human head, exuding bursts of fluorescence, is like a rare treasure in Ryuiki's hands. No one's eyes can leave it with just a glance. No one can imagine how terrible the curse stored on this jadeite is. It will be a taboo for all jujutsu teachers to instantly create a cursed object of a super cursed spirit. Even the fingers of Ryomen Sukuna need a period of gestation to give birth to a special grade. Of course, this is also because the guy Ryomen Sukuna has 20 fingers. But even so, it has already demonstrated the power of this fast cursed object. It is a super cursed object that can rival Ryomen Sukuna, the king of Jujutsu, with at least 10 fingers. It's pretty rewarding. Ryuiki nodded in satisfaction. The cursed power filled in the cursed object made him very satisfied. After 6 immortal thief treasury completely swallowed the curse of the 8 different snake, this cursed object can definitely improve himself. Cut progress. Speaking of which, only 1/3 of the 8-pointed snake curse has such a huge curse power. If I can swallow all the 8-pointed snake, maybe I will be able to unlock the next stunt directly. Ryuiki put away the jade pendant and wondered if he could swallow the scene of the 8-pointed snake. But what he didn't know was that the 8 different big snake he had swallowed should have been completely awakened by the people of Yuan Lahui today. At this moment, all the high-level members of Yuan Lahui gathered in that strange secret room. A group of strangely shaped curse masters appeared on the head hills. Some of them were dressed in robes, some with masks, some were short like dwarfs, and some were huge like apes. But there is one thing that everyone is the same, that is, everyone exudes extremely powerful curse power, and they all discuss with a bit of excitement. The pheasant sword is repaired. After so many years, has the pheasant sword finally been repaired? Great. Master Baki can finally see the sun again. Hearing the noisy voice in his ear, Fox Mian's eyes flashed a little triumphantly. Yuan Lu Wei was implementing the oldest guild leader transfer system. For decades, after countless changes of term, no one can find a way to repair the pheasant sword. During his tenure as the president, he finally repaired the pheasant sword intact. With such a feat, how proud of the fox-faced man. Zenin Ryuiki, you are really my lucky star. To repay your kindness, after the ceremony is over, you and I will become one. A cruel flash flashed across the corner of the fox-faced man's mouth hidden behind the mask. Then he patted his palms lightly. Bang bang bang. Be quiet, everyone, we have not known how many years have passed since the establishment of the Yuanlu Association. Finally, with my efforts, the sacred pheasant sword has been repaired. Master Baki will see the sky again. I just don't know. Do you still remember that year? Under the rules. The fox-faced man glanced at the crowd, and the triumph in his eyes could not be hidden anyway. Yuanlu has a well-known rule. No matter who it is, as long as he finds a way to repair the pheasant sword and successfully repairs the pheasant sword, then the guild leader circulation system will be directly banned, and the guild leader who repairs the pheasant sword will directly inherit the position of the guild leader. Become the true master of Yuanlu Club. Chapter 30. Fox Face. Don't worry, we will not break the rules. The most important thing now is to liberate Master Baki from the pheasant sword. A short old man said muffledly. Everyone also joined together. Fox Face. This time repairing the grass pheasant sword, you and the 9 ghosts are indispensable. Acting according to the rules, no one has other ideas. Jia. Young people don't worry, take a long-term view, once Master Baki is resurrected, the whole Fuzang, no. Even the whole world will be ours. Okay. Remember your words, please pheasant sword. The fox smiled slightly and waved his big hand abruptly. A sword glow appeared like a thunder in the world. Light up the darkness in the secret room. Next moment. An eternal night that was purer than the darkness emerged. It seemed to have brought everything into the dark age ruled by the horror king. Woo. As if countless souls were wailing together, the human head mountain kept shaking, and everyone's faces were full of seriousness. The pheasant sword floated gently in the air, exuding a weird curse. Like a demon king who swallowed everything, swallowing the curse power around him unscrupulously. The master of endless hell. You are the source of all misery and the master of all nightmares. You are the mountains and lakes, but also the storm and thunder. You are the supreme of everything. You are the supreme of everything. You are the supreme of everything. Everyone chanted the motto that Yuan Luhui had been handed down since ancient times, half kneeling on the ground, the curse power of the whole body quickly emerged. Single quote. Let the grass pheasant sword feast on it. There was greed and thirst on their faces, and what they were giving now was only for the return beyond everything else after the resurrection of the Baki Orochi. Or life, or power. Rumble. The grass pheasant sword exploded with an incomparable curse power, a series of phantoms appeared in the air, 8 huge heads faintly appeared, and the surrounding space uttered an overwhelming scream. Compared with this level of curse, the special cursed spirit that Ryuiki killed before is not even a doll, at best it is a slightly larger ant. Mortal, do you want power? As if the babbles from hell sounded with seductive power, everyone did not dare to raise their heads, but buried their bodies lower. Do you want power? The voice suddenly became louder, and layers of accents appeared, and 8 completely different voices sounded. Either grumpy or indifferent or crazy, lazy. This voice seemed to sound from a past that was more distant than ancient times. Everyone dared not look up, but dared to bow and flatter. According to the rumors, anyone who saw its lineup without the permission of the Baki Orochi became his belly delicacy. Welcome Master Baki to see the sun again. Congratulations, sir, reappearing, the whole world will bow its head in front of you once again. Bang. Empty rumble. At the moment when everyone was crazy about flattering, a strong explosion suddenly sounded in the ear. The light of the foxman inadvertently swept over the huge phantom, and then his eyes fell into a dullness, because he saw that the 8 differentiated serpent in the sky had begun to fall apart at some point, and the curse power had collapsed. And the sword of the pheasant sword, like fish scales, was covered with cracks of all sizes. It seemed that it might be broken at any time, like a candle in the wind, and it was unbearably dilapidated. Zenin Ryuiki. How dare you? Fox Face looked at each other with the 9 ghosts next to him, seeing the panic in the other's eyes. Although I don't know what is happening right now, but don't want to know, the culprit of all this must be that guy. But now is obviously not the time to be angry, because next, he will be in big trouble. Fox Noodle. What did you do? Why did the grass pheasant sword break? Master Baki's curse has been completely erased. The little old man yelled in anger, and his whole body curse power outrageously condensed, and his hands quickly formed seals, which was obviously murderous. The rest of the people gathered jujutsu at the same time, looking at the two with bad eyes. The whole body is almost crazy. Yuan Lu Hui's decades-long plan was completely ruined at this moment. Humian didn't give any explanation, because he knew the situation now. No matter what he said, no one would believe it. I am now a sweet potato falling on my crotch, not shit or shit. When the interruption continued, instead of being victimized, the fox's face and heart slammed, the curse power burned all over, and the white flames slowly rose. Murderously looked around. 9 ghosts, you said they are all dead, what will happen? The 9 ghosts beside him stretched out their red tongues, licked their dry lips, revealed a bloodthirsty smile, and black heads appeared behind them. That will be fun. A tyrannical storm of curse power broke out in an instant, and the entire secret room was plunged into a whirlpool of power. The culprit responsible for all this is Zenin Ryuiki lying on the rocking chair on the beach without knowing it, swaying the rocking chair, as if on vacation. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.